Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to dive right in, so make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching, and let's get started. The 1942 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a remarkable piece of American numismatic history, produced during a pivotal year in the World War II. This coin was minted in 1942, a time when the United States had fully entered the war following the attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941. The coin features the familiar inscriptions of Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum, along with the date 1942 on the obverse side. Interestingly, unlike many later pennies, it may or may not carry a mint mark depending on whether it was struck at the Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S, mint. The coin has a diameter of 19 millimeters, a weight of about 3.11 grams, and is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which was a standard alloy for Lincoln pennies at that time. This composition gives the coin its characteristic reddish-brown hue, although prolonged circulation or exposure to environmental elements can darken the coin over decades. The obverse of the 1942 Lincoln Wheat Penny features a detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, facing to the right. Lincoln's portrait was chosen in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his birth, and was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic representation such as Lady Liberty. To the left of Lincoln's portrait is the word Liberty, and above his head is In God We Trust, reflecting the spiritual and cultural values embedded in American society. The reverse side of the coin features the wheat-ear design, with two stylized stalks of wheat flanking the central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Above the wheat ears, the Latin phrase E Pluribus Unum is inscribed, meaning out of many, one, symbolizing the unity of the nation during a time of global conflict. This reverse design, commonly referred to as a wheat reverse, remained in circulation from 1909 until 1958 and is one of the most iconic designs in U.S. coinage history. The designer of the Lincoln cent was Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-American sculptor whose initials VDB originally appeared at the bottom of the reverse side of a 1909 coin. Brenner's design was revolutionary at the time and remains a timeless representation of Lincoln. By 1942, the Lincoln cent had become a staple of American currency, circulating widely throughout the country. Its simple yet elegant design made it both a practical medium of exchange and a small piece of art reflecting national pride and historical memory. The production of the 1942 Lincoln Wheat Penny occurred under special circumstances because of the ongoing war. During World War II, copper was a critical material for munitions and military equipment, so the United States Mint had to balance civilian coinage needs with wartime material conservation. Coins of 1942 were still primarily made of copper, unlike the steel cent produced in 1943 due to copper shortages. Some 1942 pennies were made from recycled wartime brass, giving them a slightly different coloration than previous issues. The coin could have been struck at 3 major mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S, with each mint producing millions of coins to ensure adequate circulation during wartime. Collectors of numismatics often examine the 1942 penny not only for condition, but also for interesting varieties and potential errors. Coins from this era may show die cracks, double strikes, or other minting anomalies that can make a coin significantly more valuable. The overall condition of the coin plays a major role in its value. Coins are graded on a scale ranging from heavily worn to uncirculated mint state, and collectors also classify copper color into red, rhode, red-brown, RB, or brown, BN categories. Fully red coins, retaining the original bright copper luster, are the most desirable, while brown or red-brown coins can still be collectible, especially in higher grades. The wheat design also shows where first on the top of the ears, which can help numismatists gauge the circulation level of coin. From a historical perspective, the 1942 Lincoln Wheat Penny provides a tangible link to the home front of the United States during World War II. Pennies like these were used daily by civilians, soldiers, and workers alike, buying small items such as candy, newspapers, or postage stamps. Unlike high-denomination coins, which might have been hoarded or saved during the war, 1-cent coins continued to circulate widely, connecting people to both their local communities and the broader economic system. This coin thus represents not only numismatic value but also cultural and historical significance as an artifact of everyday life in the 1940s. In terms of value, the 1942 Lincoln Wheat Penny is relatively common in circulated condition, as millions were minted at all 3 U.S. mints. A typical worn coin might only be worth a small premium above face value, but uncirculated or high-grade examples, particularly those retaining their original red color, can fetch higher prices. Collectors also seek out unusual varieties such as repunch mint marks or double dies, which occurred occasionally during production. These errors, combined with the historical significance of coins struck during wartime, add to the appeal of the 1942 penny among both casual and serious collectors. The 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the classic mid-20th century American coins that collectors often study when exploring the history of U.S. small-denomination currency. This coin was struck in 1955 at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark found below the date on the obverse side of the coin. Like other pennies of its era, the coin carries several famous inscriptions: Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum. These mottos reflect the ideals and traditions of the United States and have appeared on many American coins for decades. The 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is made primarily of 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc, giving it a reddish-brown color that many collectors associate with classic copper pennies. It weighs about 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters, which was a standard size for U.S. 1-cent coins for many decades before the metal composition changed in the 1980s. Because of its copper content and historical design, the coin represents an important period in American coinage history. The design of the coin features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, who served as the 16th President of the United States and is one of the most respected figures in American history. His portrait appears on the front of the coin, facing right, and the word Liberty is placed to the left of the portrait, while the date 1955 appears to the right along with a D mint mark indicating the Denver Mint. Above Lincoln's head is a national motto, In God We Trust, which has been a standard inscription on U.S. coins since the mid-20th century. The reverse side of the coin shows 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top of the reverse is a Latin phrase, E Pluribus Unum, meaning out of many, one, symbolizing the unity of the states. This wheated design is why these coins are commonly called Lincoln Wheat Pennies, and it remained in circulation from 1909 until 1958 before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. The history of the Lincoln Penny series itself begins with the Lincoln Wheat Penny, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real historical person rather than a symbolic figure. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-American sculptor whose initials VDB originally appeared on the coin. Although the initials were briefly removed due to public controversy, Brenner's design remained the basis for the Lincoln cent for generations. By the time the 1955 D penny was produced, the Lincoln cent had already become one of the most widely circulated coins in the United States, used daily by millions of Americans for small purchases. The coin represents the economic and cultural life of the United States during the 1950s, a period marked by post-World War II growth and rapid expansion of consumer culture. The Denver Mint played an important role in producing the 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Penny. Located in Colorado, the Denver Mint has been one of the major coin-producing facilities of the United States Mint since the early 20th century. In 1955, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies to meet the demand for circulating currency. The D mint mark on the coin helps collectors identify where the coin was produced and often influences the coin's collectability. Although the 1955 D penny is not as famous as a rare 1955 double die penny from the Philadelphia Mint, it is still an important coin for collectors who build complete Lincoln wheat cent sets. Many collectors enjoy searching through old coin jars and rolls hoping to find well-preserved examples of this historic penny. When examining a 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Penny closely, collectors often look at the coin's condition, which plays a major role in determining its value. Coins are graded on a scale ranging from heavily worn examples to perfectly preserved mint-state coins. A circulated 1955 D penny might show wear on Lincoln's hair, cheek, and coat, while the wheat ears on the reverse may appear flattened from years of handling. However, coins that remain in mint condition with bright red copper color can be far more desirable to collectors. The color of copper coins is usually classified as red, rhode, red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, depending on how much of the original copper luster remains. Because copper naturally darkens over time, fully red examples from the 1950s are becoming harder to find. Another interesting aspect of the 1955 Lincoln Wheat Penny is its connection to the broader world of coin collecting, also known as numismatics. Numismatists often study coins not only for their monetary value but also for their historical and artistic significance. The Lincoln Cent series provides a fascinating timeline of American history from the early 1900s through modern times. The wheat-ear design used from 1909 to 1958 reflects a simpler era of coin design, emphasizing agricultural symbolism and national unity. For many collectors, wheat pennies are among the first coins they begin collecting because they are widely available yet historically meaningful. In terms of value, most 1955 Lincoln Wheat Pennies are relatively common because of the large number that were produced. Circulated examples may only be worth a small premium over their face value, especially if they are worn or discolored. However, coins that are uncirculated or in high mint state grades can be worth significantly more, especially if they retain strong red coloration. Collectors also look for error coins, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or unusual minting mistakes that occur during production. These rare errors can dramatically increase the coin's value and make it highly desirable among collectors. Because of this possibility, many coin hunters carefully examine every wheat penny they find. The legacy of the 1955 Lincoln Wheat Penny continues today because it represents a piece of everyday American history. For millions of Americans in the 1950s, pennies like this one were used in daily life for buying small items such as candy, newspapers, or public transportation. Over time, many of these coins were saved in collections or forgotten in jars and drawers, waiting to be rediscovered decades later. For modern collectors and historians, the coin offers a glimpse into the economic life, artistic design, and cultural values of the United States during the mid-20th century. Even though it is a small copper coin, it carries with it a story that connects generations of Americans and collectors around the world. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny is an important coin from the final year of World War II and represents a fascinating period in American history and coin production. This coin was minted in 1945 at the Denver Mint, which is identified by the small D mint mark located below the date on the obverse side of the coin. Like other Lincoln cents of the time, the coin carries several famous inscriptions including Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum. These inscriptions reflect the ideals of the United States and appear on many American coins as symbols of unity, faith, and freedom. The coin has a diameter of 19 millimeters and weighs approximately 3.11 grams, which was a standard for U.S. copper pennies during most of the 20th century. The composition of the coin is mainly 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc, giving it the familiar reddish color that collectors associate with classic wheat pennies. The front side of the coin features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected leaders in American history. Lincoln served as the 16th President of the United States from 1861 to 1865, and is remembered for preserving the Union during the Civil War and helping to end slavery. His image on the coin faces to the right, with the word Liberty placed on the left side of the portrait, and the date 1945 along with a D mint mark appearing on the right side. Above Lincoln's head is the inscription, In God We Trust, a national motto that began appearing regularly on U.S. coins during the 20th century. The reverse side of the coin features a classic wheat-ear design with two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top of the reverse is a Latin phrase E Pluribus Unum, which means out of many, one, symbolizing the unity of the states within the nation. The design of the Lincoln cent was created by Victor David Brenner, a talented sculptor who was chosen to design the coin in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Brenner's portrait of Lincoln was groundbreaking because it marked the first time a real historical person appeared on a regularly circulating U.S. coin. Before this, American coins typically featured symbolic figures such as Lady Liberty rather than actual individuals. Brenner's design quickly became popular with the public and has remained the foundation for the Lincoln cent design for more than a century, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. The United States Mint produced the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny during a period when the United States was heavily involved in World War II. The war had a significant effect on coin production and metal usage. Just a few years earlier, in 1943, the U.S. Mint temporarily produced pennies made of steel coated with zinc because copper was needed for military equipment and ammunition. By 1944 and 1945, copper pennies returned to circulation, but the metal often came from recycled wartime materials such as spent shell casings. As a result, many pennies from 1944 and 1945 were made from recycled brass, giving them slightly different color tone compared to earlier copper coins. The Denver Mint produced a very large number of 1945 Lincoln Wheat Pennies to meet the needs of the American economy as the war was coming to an end. Hundreds of millions of coins were struck that year, which means a coin is relatively common in circulated condition today. However, finding a high-quality example that still retains its original mint luster can be more challenging. Many coins from this era circulated heavily, showing wear on Lincoln's hair, face, and coat on the obverse side and flattened wheat stalks on the reverse. Collectors often classify the color of copper coins into three main categories: red, Rhode, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. A coin graded red still has most of its original bright copper color and is usually the most valuable. Over time, exposure to air and moisture causes copper coins to darken and develop a brown patina, which is why many older wheat pennies appear darker today. Even though brown coins may not look as bright as red ones, they can still be very collectible, especially if they are well preserved and have strong design details. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny is also popular among collectors of numismatics, the field dedicated to studying coins, paper money, and related objects. Numismatists examine coins for their historical significance, design features, mint marks, and production techniques. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, which was produced from 1909 to 1958, is one of the most widely collected coin series in the United States. Many collectors try to complete full sets that include coin from all mints and years within the series. Because the coins are produced for nearly 50 years, they offer a wide range of dates, mint marks, and varieties for collectors to explore. In terms of value, most 1945 Lincoln Wheat Pennies are not extremely rare due to their large mintage. Circulated examples may only be worth a small amount above face value, but coins in uncirculated or mint state condition can be worth significantly more to collectors. The value increases if the coin retains its original red color and strong luster. Additionally, collectors often look for unusual mint errors, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other minting mistakes. These errors occur when something unusual happens during the coin striking process, and they can make a coin much more valuable and interesting to collectors. Another fascinating aspect of the 1945 penny is a historical moment it represents. In 1945, the world was witnessing the final months of World War II, and the United States was experiencing significant economic and social change. Coins produced during this time circulated through the hands of soldiers, workers, and families across the country. Because of this, each surviving coin can be seen as a small artifact from one of the most important periods in modern history.